Today, we are cracking open one of the most influential personal finance books ever written, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is a book that, and I'm not exaggerating here, has completely flipped the script on how millions of people see money. We're going to get right into the big, life-changing ideas that make it so powerful.
So let me ask you something. What did your parents tell you about money? Was it something like, go to school, get good grades, find a safe, secure job, and save, save, save? Yeah, that's what most of us heard. Well, this entire explainer is about throwing that old playbook out the window and looking at a totally different way to build wealth.
All right, let this one sink in, because this single sentence is the key to the entire kingdom. It's a complete 180 from what most of us believe. The goal isn't just to earn a bigger and bigger paycheck. No, the goal is to build a machine, a system, where your money is the one out there working 24/7, doing all the heavy lifting for you.
So where did Kiyosaki get this radical idea? Well, it came from his unique childhood, where he had two dads. And their completely opposite views on money and life are really the foundation for everything he teaches.
And man, the difference between these two guys couldn't be more extreme. You've got his poor dad, who was his actual biological father, a brilliant man, highly educated, worked incredibly hard, but was always stressed about money. And then you have his rich dad, his best friend's father. This guy had very little formal schooling, but he was a genius when it came to financial smarts. We're talking two mentors with two wildly different results.
And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important lesson in the whole book. Seriously, if you forget everything else, remember this. It all comes down to knowing the simple but absolutely profound difference between an asset and a liability.
Okay, so what's an asset? It's dead simple. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. Think of it like a little money machine that you own. The cash flows in. That's it. That's the whole definition. And on the flip side, you've got liabilities. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's a financial drain. The cash flows out. Now here's the crazy part. Most people spend their entire lives buying liabilities that they think are assets.
So let's make this real. What are we talking about here? Assets are things like a business, stocks that give you dividends, or a rental property that brings in cash every month. Liabilities, that brand new car, the latest smartphone, and here's the one that gets everybody, your house. Yeah, your own home. If it's just costing your money every month, it's a liability, not an asset. The rich spend their lives buying assets. Everybody else? They're just piling up the liabilities.
But, it's not just about what you buy. The difference between the rich and the poor starts way before any money is ever spent. It's all about your mindset. It's all in your head.
See, Poor Dad was all about job security. His entire goal was to find a safe company, get a steady paycheck, and climb the ladder. And look, that's the path most of us are taught to follow, right? But Rich Dad? He couldn't care less about job security. His goal was financial freedom, a point where you don't need a job to pay your bills. One guy wanted a cage with golden bars. The other wanted to learn how to fly.
And that difference shaped how they dealt with fear. Poor Dad was terrified of losing money. That fear paralyzed him, so he played it super safe and never really got ahead. Rich Dad knew that you have to take some calculated risks. He wasn't afraid of failing. In fact, he saw every loss, every mistake, as just paying for a really valuable lesson. It was tuition for the school of success.
And this all loops back to that first big idea. Poor Dad's whole world revolved around his salary. He was trading his time for money. It's a classic hamster wheel. Rich Dad, on the other hand, focused on building passive income, getting money from his assets that would flow in whether he was sleeping, on vacation, or whatever. He wasn't running on the wheel. He was busy building a pipeline.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? What's the big move? Well, it boils down to a super simple but powerful piece of advice. Mind your own business.
Now, this doesn't mean you should march into your boss's office and quit tomorrow. Not at all. What he means is you need to see your financial life in two parts. Part one is your job, your profession. That's what pays the bills. It keeps you fed and a roof over your head. But part two, your business, that's your asset column. That's what makes you rich. You use the money from your job to build your business.
And here's the catch. None of this just happens. The reason so few people do this is because our schools are set up to teach us how to be good employees, not smart investors. They teach you how to work for money, but not how to have money work for you. That part, financial intelligence, that's on you. It's not a course you take, it's something you have to study for the rest of your life.
So, as we bring this all together, the message from Rich Dad, Poor Dad is incredibly empowering. It's not about what family you were born into or what your paycheck says. It's about which of these two mindsets, which financial philosophy you choose to live by.
So, let's just hammer home the main points one more time. First, becoming wealthy starts between your ears. It's a mindset shift. Second, your number one focus has to be on buying and building your asset column. Third, you can never, ever stop learning about money. And finally, the ultimate goal is always to get your money working hard for you so you don't have to spend your life working hard for it.
And I want to leave you with one last question to really think about tonight. Just take a look at your own life, your own bank statements. What's your single biggest monthly expense? Your mortgage? A car payment? Now ask yourself honestly, is that thing putting money in your pocket or is it taking money out? The answer to that one simple question, well, that could be the start of a whole new chapter for you.